Hiya, Barbie.
Hi, Ken.
You wanna go do a podcast?
Sure.
Jump in.
Ladies and gentlemen, ghouls and monsters, frightmares of all ages, and everyone else, welcome to Binging Barbie. I'm your host, John, and with me I have my co-host. Yar, yar, just the sight of that scallywag shivers me timbers. Jay.
Hello.
Anyway, this is a podcast about movie tie-ins for toy franchises, and this week we are continuing our deep dive into the Monster High series. Today we are talking about the 11th movie, Monster High Haunted. And with us to help dissect this film is returning guest, creator and host of the Franken Files and Monster High expert, Samariel.
Did someone say confetti cannons?
Oh, that was
Hello,
beautiful.
I'm back.
Yeah, back once again. Another week, another Monster High movie to
Another
dive
Monster
into.
High movie.
Yep.
I think this was like the second Monster High movie I ever watched. Because for a while these movies were on Netflix, and I remember just being a senior in college, sitting on my laptop, and I was like, I'm gonna watch some of these movies. And I started with 13 Wishes, and I think this was the next one because I was like, I like ghosts. Let's see what this is about.
Yeah, this was an interesting one to start out with because it is missing a lot of the characters who are very key to other ones.
Indeed, it is. Something that I didn't notice until I was rewatching it yesterday.
Well, yeah, this was released March 24, 2015, directed by William Lau. Once again, he's pretty prolific director on the films we've covered so far, doing a lot of the Barbie and Monster High, of course. Written by Keith Wagner, art direction by Byron Lebo, and music by Stephen Argula. We've talked about all of these people before, doing good work here on Monster High.
Yeah, and as the story goes, strange things are happening around Monster High, and Draculaura thinks that she's being haunted by a ghost. And this is an issue because for centuries, hauntings have been against the law of the actions due to the actions of the Red Lady. And curious what might be going on, Spectra goes back to her old school Haunted High, and the ghouls follow her. And on Haunted High, Principal Revenant has started handing out excessive detentions manifested through chains the students wear. And this includes the rebellious student Poltergeist, who befriends Spectra. Revenant discovers the Monster High students and tries to put them in detention, as you do. And they escape, but Spectra gets captured. And the ghouls decide to use ghost sand to transform themselves into ghosts and rescue Spectra instead of going to the government. And they do, but once again, they get caught by the principal Revenant, who decides she wants to use ghost sand to turn all of Monster High into ghosts so she can give out more detentions. Okay. Porter steals Revenant's key and uses it to free the ghouls so that they can return to Monster High, getting stuck with their chains himself. And Spectra figures out that Revenant must be the Red Lady, who is using the students to get out of her own punishment. So the ghouls go to save Monster High while Spectra confronts the Red Lady. And the Red Lady gets rid of her last chains, but is still unable to leave. And it turns out every time she puts her chain on others, it just created more chains on her. Realizing the errors of her ways, she takes all the chains back, and everyone has a dance party back at Monster High. Yes.
Yeah.
And the enrollment status at Haunted High has decreased in the next year, as everybody's now leaving because of this criminal.
I mean, understandably so. The principal of this, organization, this school, is known criminal, the Red Lady. I would also remove my child? Question mark?
Remove my child. She punishes everyone, creates new rules, kidnaps students from another land, turns them into ghosts so that she could give them detention, and like nobody's gonna bat an eye. Like,
It-
isn't there a ghost government? Shouldn't there our girls go to their own principal and tell them, "Hey, we have a hostile combatant in the other universe taking over our students. Send over
yeah.
the SWAT teams of the Monster High universe." What is okay? I
This,
get it. It's a kid
yeah.
show, but still.
Yes, but this yeah. Yeah. Listen, I love to explain away as much as I can. Like, it's for children, it's a kids movie, it's whatnot. But like this one left me with more questions than answers in a not good way.
So
And
bonkers.
especially, oh, it's so bonkers. And especially this seems to the biggest issue I tend to have with Monster High is I don't think it understands monsters, because it is often just sort of teen stuff
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
kind of have teeth sometimes. And this one I'm like, okay, ghosts. You know, we're going to ask some questions about the afterlife, presumably, because that's what ghosts are. And then it wasn't that. And I was like, okay, so are these dead children? Are these children born ghosts? What's the deal? Do they have parents who are worried about them? Like, what?
Yeah.
And it's like the ghosts don't talk to the solids. Okay, so ghosts aren't dead people then, presumably, if they're so scared of solids. So like I was watching this movie with a friend of the podcast, Scout, and Scout had even more questions than I did. And there were a couple of times where we had to pause the movie and be like, okay, so the situation here is what exactly? And I'm like, it's Monster High. Look at Poltergeist. Look at him go.
Why is it a school? Like, why is this school taking over the land, stealing other people? Why the school?
I'm
I mean,
my
sure,
my
we get it, it's the Red Lady, but all
yeah.
she really had to do was just put it all on one other person and then try to escape. Instead, she, I guess, tries the smart way of spreading it out to everyone, but
She does pull the long con. My question is how? Like, did we lose track of the greatest ghost criminal of the world? And we forgot she was in that big house that is now a school and no one asked any questions?
apparently that
Also,
school has the records of every single ghost as well, so
also, I love how non-specific her crimes are.
Yeah.
They're just like, she haunted people. And I'm like, so she did what exactly? Like, tell me. And it's like, oh, she haunted vampires and werewolves. And I'm like, doing what exactly? Like, Kiyomi gives Draculaura some funny hair, and that's enough to freak her the hell out. So, like, it was just like, the greatest ghost criminal in the world. What did she do? Annoyed some people for a while? Question mark.
I mean, she's called the Red Lady. Maybe she painted them red or
Or something.
red
She
Painting
kept
the
in an
town
pulling.
arcade
red.
fashion. Yes,
She read them for filth. She
she's a
just kept
fanfic writer.
bullying people. Oh yeah, that too. Oh my
Oh.
gosh. Yeah. So I jab. I jape. If I can remember correctly, it's been several years since I watched this the first time. I don't think I clocked the Red Lady right away. I think it took me longer than I would care to admit before I was like, oh, she's the Red Lady. Okay, that's kind of cool, actually. Like, I kind of enjoyed that. But rewatching it now, and because technically this is a story about gossiping.
Yeah,
Yep.
Technically,
technically.
Ostensibly.
it's like this wild high stakes situation of people being bound in mortal chains for all eternity. And also, gossiping is bad, you guys.
Yeah,
I kind of took that to be like a high school or like kid appropriate version of like what's the term I want to use, because I don't want to use the term fake news, but that's kind of the
Oh,
like
sure, yeah.
the more sinister version of gossiping, because in the end, Principal Revenant takes on this almost like fascist sort of ideology and approach, and is using these rumors that she's spreading to justify this like hostile takeover of Monster High, and sort of stoke these resentments. So that was kind of my read on it being less about gossip specifically and more about like deliberate misinformation. And
Mm.
but maybe I'm
That's
giving
totally
it too
fair.
much credit. I don't
I
know.
mean, it's have either of you guys like seen the Buffy episode where they drink beer and turn into cavemen?
No.
No, I
Okay.
haven't.
This is like an infamous episode of Buffy. Sarah Zed did a whole video on it, and it was done as a part of this like campaign to like talk about underage drinking and like inappropriate treatment of alcohol, basically how alcohol when overused and improperly used can lead to devastating things. But it's that's technically supposed to be like the sort of thesis of the episode, but it's so lost in the sauce of drink beer, turn into caveman, and then hijinks ensue. And I feel like there's a little bit of that here where it's like I see what they're trying to do with, Spectra having to learn her lesson about, spreading misinformation without, checking sources. But also, there's like, people changing forms and being bound for all eternity in mortal chains. Like,
So you
it,
don't really focus on the whole gossiping
yeah,
aspect
it's
of it.
hard to focus
It's
on the gossip thing when the spooky ghost lady is throwing chains at people,
yeah.
presumably for the rest of their unlives.
Yeah.
I do enjoy it. I did enjoy it. It was a fun movie to watch. It just there were so many questions that I couldn't ignore. Like
Yeah.
the
I
River Styx is here and she's on her dad's boat. He's at a conference somewhere. And so I'm like, okay, so she's supposed to be ferrying the dead for him while he's gone? Is there like dead piling up somewhere that are being ignored? Because the Grim Reaper has a job to do. And
There's a
yeah.
pirate ship as
Yeah,
well.
what was Vendala's whole deal? Did not make any sense to me. She was just kind of here. And like I enjoyed her, she was fun, but it was like, and also I'm here. And I'm like, awesome. Thanks for coming, Vandala. Funky little cuttlefish you got there. So it was a fun one to watch, and I enjoyed a lot of aspects of it. I think the movie was really strong when it was focusing on Spectra and her whole situation. Like when it had a point that it was like trying to deliver on, it was doing pretty well there. But there were a lot of moments where things just kept getting lost in the sauce for me. Um, so yeah, I really liked Spectra's arc. I liked some of the intrigue with Porter, where it was like, oh, did he betray us? Not really, actually. I thought that was done at least in a way that, while being over the top and classic, miscommunication, it was done in a way that I think like even kids would be able to like parse well and understand. Um, so like there were a lot of things about it that I did really really like. It was just also very confusing.
I might be in the minority on this one, where I can definitely understand, like, yeah, the logic of the movie doesn't always make sense.
Mm.
But for me, it didn't end up being that much of an issue. I was just invested in the story enough, I guess, that I wasn't necessarily paying attention to all of the logic breaks. Even though, yeah, there's things don't quite make sense, and like, what are ghosts and what is going on and who's
Yeah.
what and what's who, and but yeah, at a certain point, I just kind of was
yeah.
able to just kind of like I don't know, it's very well constructed, and I think it's an interesting counterpoint to our one of the ones that John and I really liked was Scaris City of Frights. And that
Mm-hmm.
one felt like we had the same writers for a lot of these Monster High movies in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And like each one they got a little bit better at juggling like a giant cast. And then eventually by Scaris, they figured out how to do A, B, C, and D plots and bring all of these characters in and do all of that. So that one was really impressive on that sense. This one I think is on the other side. We just have one, we don't even have subplots here. We just have the one A plot that we're following through. And I think that was just very well constructed.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it does mean that a lot of the characters just kind of don't get much to do here. I mean,
Yeah.
Frankie and Cleo are basically absent
They're
besides like
not
the first scene.
there. They're at
Yeah.
There's
the
no
beginning.
Abby at
Yeah,
all.
No,
yeah.
yeah.
You're
Gulia.
missing part of the core here. And I was I don't get me wrong, I loved that Twyla got to shine, that Rochelle got to have more screen time because they are also wonderful, fabulous characters. But I like Frankie is the one of the core three, and we just left her. Like, you're telling me she didn't notice that half of the school's population has disappeared and isn't doing anything to try to help? But
Yeah.
again, like, you kind of got to make decisions about, who's going in this time, like who are we messing with, as well as, these are for dolls and we got to pick who are we redesigning and what are we going to do with them. And which, by the way, the haunted line of dolls, this is one of the like bigger, like, those dolls sell for very much. Like, they were very sought after because I think they were very quickly decided by like the fans as being some of the most interesting and best designs. So they are harder dolls to get your hands on than, you know, the Boo York ones or stuff like that.
Yeah, these like the designs here are very very good, and I mean I just love the ghostly aesthetic. We'll talk
Oh,
about that when we get to the
absolutely.
visuals, but
But
yeah,
yeah. But yeah.
I don't know. I think it all kind of pulled together for me, especially in the third act where we have sort of we've been building to this, and we have I caught on to the red lady twist pretty early, but I didn't catch on to the thing of, oh, she's giving her chains to other people. And I
Yeah.
thought, okay, the mechanics of that like are actually kind of clever. Like even
Mhm.
though, yeah, why didn't she just put it all on one person and leave?
That's what she did anyway.
Yeah,
At the end. So
but
No,
ignoring
but yeah,
that sort of
it was cool. The
break in the
chains
logic,
mechanic was cool.
I mean, yeah, it's like, oh, that's actually a really interesting villain plot, and like it's
Oh,
bringing
for
in
sure.
these things that are like, oh, the ghosts with chains, this sort of Charles Dickens idea that it's then
Hmm.
expanding on, and of course we also get the ghosts of past, present, and future to
Yeah.
show up, and
I was a little baffled about them and their whole situation. But
yeah, but yeah, then we have like the ghouls in Monster High. They're trying to stop this, and it's all exciting in action, and then Spectra is confronting the Red Lady, and I
mhm.
don't know, just when these movies are able to bring everything together in the third act, it's it's just nice because you leave that's the sort of the impression it leaves. I do think the resolution is a bit convenient. Like we
Yeah.
have this lady who has been, torturing these students and haunting people nebulously, whatever that means.
Yeah, yeah.
And then she's just like, "Oh no, yeah, I see the error of my ways."
Actually, I
It even,
deserve these chains. I'm like, you've been trying to get rid of them all movie.
yeah, it seemed to be almost like,
But because one teenager said gossiping
yeah,
is bad.
it almost seemed to me like she was just pretending to be redeemed because it's so
Mm,
out of character for how she's established. And I was looking forward to like when she's doing these things and it's like the chains are still showing up, and I'm like, oh, that's like justice. Like no matter what you do, you can't escape the bad things you've done. Oh, that's really cool. And it's like, oh no, it's her conscience. It's like, oh,
yeah.
that's a little more disappointed. I wanted to see her like locked away in the dungeon doing the "No, I will get you." No,
Yeah, that would have been
she just
cool. But
she's like,
yeah,
"Okay, I'm fine now." And then, "Can I be your principal, even though I did
it's
all
like,
these bad
no,
things?"
absolutely not. We don't trust you.
No.
You've been torturing us for the last forever.
Yeah.
So it's the yeah, you kind of gotta. That is part of the. It is a kids movie, and your options at that point are, send her to the shadow realm, kill her, or have her turn around and admit the error of her ways, and that's kind
Yeah.
of the three outcomes that you get in kids movies.
Yeah, pretty much.
Overall, I did really enjoy it, though. This was a really fun one.
Yeah.
Spectra,
I just
absolutely. I love
yeah.
Spectra. She's always been one of my favorites just because I thought she was so interesting. Um, and I was so excited when I was like, oh, she gets a whole movie to just do her thing. Go off, Queen. And she absolutely does. And I love that for her.
I had a hard
Yeah.
time figuring out who are we following, who's who, because again, this time we're following mostly background characters that we don't really see a whole lot, and
Mm.
so I'm like, okay, so which one are you? Which film are you from? And then of course, Twyla had a redesign in between films, and so it's like, is that Twyla? I don't know. Sounds like her. And then they had another redesign in the middle of the film, and it makes
Yeah.
it hard, especially since they got similar color palettes again. It's like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
well, I don't know who's who, so I guess I'm just gonna follow Spectra. So
Spectra
there you
is the
go.
guiding light of
Yeah,
Haunted High.
Yeah. Well, we should head over to characters so we can dig in a bit more to Spectra. But before we do that, I gave the story here a 3.5 out of 5. Again, I can see all of these issues, and I definitely saw a lot of them as I was watching it. But I was invested in the story, which sometimes I'm not with these things. Sometimes I'm a bit more nitpicky. But here I was having a good time. This is our first one back from our Christmas break, so it's like, oh, I'm getting into the swing of things here and
Yeah.
enjoying it.
hmm
You want me to go?
yeah.
Okay. I gave it a 3.75 because I liked it overall. I had a harder time giving it the pass of it's a kids movie. There were a couple of things that nicked me here and there, but overall I did really enjoy this movie. It was very fun, and I thought the majority of the story was really interesting.
I gave it a generous 3.3. Um, I thought it was fine, but like really the logic of how they were able to get away with a lot of things just didn't work with me.
Totally fair.
Oh
Moving
yeah,
on to characters.
yeah. We have Spectra, who is
Spectra.
yeah. I mean, really interesting to see her upgraded from sort of this side character who barely had any focus in the last ones. Now she's the main focus here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, it really brings extra depth to her character, to see and to give her this big arc about gossip, which yeah, I agree. The gossip thing is maybe a little bit, but I was reading deeper into it maybe than was intended. But
Like it's easy to read it as very goofy and whatnot because it's like, oh, this is the kid moral lesson, here's what you got to take away. But I it's the moral lesson we're trying to get kids to take away because it's a genuine issue. And i
yeah,
i liked, opening with her freaking out about needing to post something. She has to get a story, like she, because this is sort of her thing. This is, she runs the ghostly gossip, and that is her project, that is her passion, that's the thing that she wants to do, and she's struggling with it, and so she's desperate for anything. And her, having this arc of learning, like, hey, actually, you need to be more considerate about, the things that you do and the things that you say without any research. And I love Spectra. I love that she got to really shine. and glow and hover ominously. It was just great. I love Spectra.
Yeah.
I think she's awesome.
Yeah, no, and yeah, because one of the things I wrote down in my notes early on, because I hadn't ever seen this before, was Spectre really needs to get better at her journalism. And then that's immediately called out by Claudine, who's like, "Hey, you did a bad."
Oh yeah.
Any thoughts, John?
So I don't have any thoughts for any characters in this one, so just I'll sit here and listen. You just go right through this.
Fair enough.
Oh yeah,
I liked that she got to elaborate on why she likes writing, and in that sort of conversation where she's like, you know, writing helps me. It's a thing that matters, and he's like, oh okay, and they're talking about the ghostly gossip, and he's like, oh, so what have you like written before? And she's embarrassed about, you know, kind of having to admit like, I've mostly been publishing trash if I am, you know, forced to reconcile with the thing, and her like having that moment of here's what I'm doing, here's what I love to do, and realizing these aren't quite lining up. Like that is a surprisingly like deep conversation to have and to like put that in front of kids. Like I've had conversations with friends in my 20s about stuff like that. It's like here's what I'm doing, but here's what I'm actually passionate about. I need to make those align. And I was like, that's awesome. I like that.
yeah. I now that you bring that up, I do wonder if this is sort of the writer. Let me figure out who that is. Oh yeah, Keith Wagner. I wonder if that's drawing at all from like personal experience of like, because yeah, the writer of this movie is obviously a writer, so
Indeed.
there might be some sort of autobiography, biographical elements
Yeah.
in there, and
Processing something
we've
there, yeah.
seen that in Monster High Frights Camera Action, where the writers are sort of directly calling themselves out. So yeah, I don't know. I was recently watching I believe it's the Tammy Tucker show did an episode with a whole bunch of the people who the creators behind Barbie Princess and the Pauper. So they got
Oh,
the
okay.
director William Lau, they got Rob Hudnut, who's like the producer that Mattel sent in to help with the production. So yeah, it's just kind of fascinating because I mean these are pieces of art, but they're very commercialized, and so you sometimes don't think about the artist behind it. So I think it is part of what I enjoy about this podcast is, you know, actually digging into what's the artistic intent behind this. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's always cool to like find those little connections there, and I hadn't even clocked the sort of the writing as like a potential connection there.
Yeah. Well, because what's cool with that conversation is that's when she's sort of they're sort of calling out each other where he doesn't really learn as much of a lesson necessarily because all of his spray paint is ghost paint, which doesn't stay question
Yeah,
mark. And so she has a very negative opinion on his like street art because it's vandalism and whatnot. But they kind of like come to this, you know, middle ground with each other of recognizing each other's passions and expressions, which I just thought was really nice.
yeah. Now, we also have the other ghouls. I've kind of lumped them all together because, much like a lot of these, they're just kind of there for the most part.
Yeah.
Twilight gets a lot more to do. We kind of get a
Yeah.
bit of her background in this sort of wonderful, very odd laboratory in her house that her dad uses to
I
change into
love
different
I
monsters.
love Twyla. I love the really weird lore that we get with the boogeyman. Because part of I don't think this is in any of the shows or whatnot, but part of Twyla's like backstory, like her sort of biography, is one of the things about her is she's always tired because she's constantly chasing after her dad
Mm.
to like undo the nightmares that he causes. That's we never see any of that, so I don't know. They're probably not
Yeah,
pulling much of that actually in the real world, but like the relationship that Twyla has with her dad is something that we only ever really get like hints about. And I love this house. I
yeah,
love I did a report on the Boogeyman forever ago for Unhappy Hour a couple of years back
Oh
while I
yeah,
was
I remember that. That was
yeah, that was
fantastic.
that was a really fun night. And the thing about like the Boogeyman is like there is no look for the Boogeyman. We don't know what he looks like because he looks like whatever you're afraid of. And crystallizing that in sand and like having him like he can turn into whatever because he's the
Yeah,
boogeyman. He's got doors to everywhere because he's the boogeyman, and I'm like, this rules.
yeah.
And so
That was
I've always loved Twyla as a character, sort of like she's sort of a refraction of that because she's the child of the boogeyman, and she mostly gets stuff to do with like shadows. That tends to be the aspect that they give her. She can lurk and hide and scare the hell out of people if she so chooses. And I love her sort of blasé treatment of the whole situation. She's like, yeah, my dad's the boogeyman. Welcome to our weird house. It's insane. And you just have to deal with it. And I love that for her.
no, yeah, and that is. I mean, when the characters are like, "Oh, we must become ghosts," I was like, "Oh no, is this heading in a very very dark direction?"
Literally, Scout and I made that joke where Serena's like, so you guys just have to become ghosts. And Scout's like, Serena's going to pull out a gun now? Like, what is. and then, no, we're going to do some boogie set. It'll be fine.
Mm.
Yeah, no, that was, and that leads to like, I don't know, it's like such a fun concept, and then they do a little bit with it with the ghosts turning each other into different various monsters. The vampire duck maybe being the most memorable.
Indeed.
Yeah,
Love
I don't know. I
Vampire
just
Duck.
yeah, Twyla had a lot more to do here. Probably my second favorite of her appearances.
And of the ghost redesigns, I think she's my favorite. Like,
Yeah,
her ghost look was the best.
yeah, and it fits so well with her character. I was surprised she wasn't already a ghost. Like Operetta, it took me a
Yeah,
moment to go like,
Operetta's a ghost?
but
Question
she's
mark?
the Phantom of the Opera.
The Phantom of
So,
the Opera was a guy.
oh,
He was
good
a
point.
man. He was a weirdo who lived in the catacombs underneath the freaking opera. He wasn't a ghost.
Well, apparently is she his child? I don't know the lore
I
behind
think
Operetta,
so.
so
I from
I
what
have
I
to
understand,
imagine.
she is, because she talks about, in oh, which one is it? The roller derby one. In that one, she talks
Yeah,
about how she's been swinging on chandeliers since she was little, because Phantom of the
yeah,
Opera.
yeah.
So yeah, I know there's a big question mark in the fandom. I recently I'm on Reddit now, and there's the Monster High Reddit. Somebody was like, "Why is Operetta French? Or why is she Southern? She should be French." And
Yeah,
everyone kind of like, "I don't know, man. She's styled after rockabilly, and that's kind of the vibe they gave her." Just shrug.
I
But that's
mean,
a different.
it's kind of funny. It's like, what's the opposite form of operatic music? Country music, I guess.
In some degrees it does kind of make sense because when the French came to the US, they would have Louisiana was like a
yeah,
big place where the French settled, which is why Louisiana is the way it is. So it does make a certain amount of sense, but not all of it.
yeah. She's a character who would maybe need an entire movie devoted to what's going on with her to
Yeah, what's
fully.
her deal? I'd love to know. Because I think they do go to they're in the animated show. I don't think they ever go in the movies, but they do a trip down to Boo Orleans,
They
and I
they do it's New Gorleans in Fright's Camera
oh,
Action.
is it okay?
Yeah,
Never mind then. But yeah, so if we didn't learn it then, I don't think we're gonna learn it ever.
yeah, yeah. The other ghouls, Draculaura gets a little bit to do. She's the one who's getting haunted by Kiyomi. Gets her hair done in an odd
That's
style.
kind of it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I thought she was gonna play a bigger role because she's like the focus of the beginning of the movie. We're seeing this haunting happening to her, but
Yeah.
once Spectra takes over, it's kind of the Spectra show for the rest of the movie. Spectra and, of course, Poltergeist.
Poltergeist. Love this man.
Uh, he's wonderful. He's the bad boy with a heart of gold. Just very, very like equal and opposite to Nathan from the last one.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Which I was missing Nathan here. He showed up in the background of a couple scenes, but I
That
feel like Porter is like a fine substitute.
Indeed, indeed. Yeah, Nathan has joined the ranks of characters from previous movies whose assets we have and are now going to put into the background of our scenes. Which is a damn shame, but
Yeah.
unfortunately that is because I think the only Freaky Fusion character who ever comes back is Cyrena in this movie because
Yeah.
I think Monster High realized we don't have a lot of ghost characters. We've got this one ghost mermaid from that one movie we made. Let's give her a slightly bigger role and bring her on in. And she has no idea about Haunted
No.
High. She has no clue about the ghost world whatsoever, which
She has
is
no idea about anything. She's the
that's true.
Portia from Princess Charm School of the group. Or
Correct.
what's that character in Mean Girls? I should know this.
Oh,
I'm
oh,
blanking. Amanda
Amanda
Seyfried.
Seyfried. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Amanda Seyfried's character, whose name I can't remember. It's like Kristen Appleby's. No, that's a character from Dimension
No,
20.
it doesn't matter.
Whatever.
Hopefully, people know who we're
She's
talking
the
about.
dumb one, and
Yeah.
we love her.
Nobody questions why there's a ghost mermaid.
I did in Freaky Fusion.
But like in this brand new school, like do they know about what were they called?
Oh,
Fusions?
hybrids. They were
Hybrids?
hybrids.
Do they know about hybrids? Why did nobody question why does this ghost have like a fishtail?
Because in Freaky Fusion, Cyrena did talk about like the one thing that the two halves of my family could agree on was swimming. Like so she has mentioned two halves of her family, presumably one half is mermaids and the other half is ghosts. A thing that I don't understand still.
I mean,
But
Nathan is a zombie unicorn, so that
indeed,
all of the hybrids bring up so many
a
questions.
lot of questions, yeah. And so it's just like, yeah, I don't know, man. I did enjoy. Maybe this is better for visuals, but if you remember the being in the past, in Freaky Fusion, there were like those two haughty werewolf boys who were like, I think the Normie exchange program isn't working. Think we could send him back. Those two guys were in Haunted High as ghosts.
Oh,
It was a very brief moment, but they were there, and I went, those are the two guys from Freaky Fusion. Are they dead now? Is that why they're here?
did they
In
use
high
ghost
school?
scent or did they get murdered?
I don't know.
Have they been in high school for this long?
Uh,
Or is Haunted High in like a timeless dimension?
it could be. Who truly knows?
Who
Anyways,
knows?
we're supposed to
Indeed.
be talking about characters.
Yeah,
I'm so
Porter.
sorry. Poltergeist.
He's just awesome.
He's just a
I
cool
like
guy.
his arc here of like, and yeah, that thing where it's like, oh, has he betrayed them? And I was like, no, obviously not. But
Obviously not, but
it's just nice to, he's a nice person.
he's a little artful dodger,
Yeah.
dingus. Getting close to the enemy so that they can take it down from within. You know
And
what?
also
I
just
respect
has, yeah, and he has phenomenal chemistry with Spectra.
I liked their relationship quite a lot. It was very
Yeah,
cute.
it's it's another surprisingly compelling romance in these Monster High movies.
Mhm.
Like Nathan and Frankie in the last movie, and then Frankie and is it Andy in the Skull Shores, where we've
I
had
gotta
this
see
like,
Skull Shores. I still haven't watched
yeah,
it.
it's just this thing that I've been noticing where Monster High has been, I think, more consistently delivering on sort of more compelling romances than the Barbie movies often had.
Mm-hmm.
I think they do a better job with their male leads than the Barbie movies sometimes do.
Well, I think that's partially because, a lot of the times the male leads in Barbie movies were, here's Ken, let's put a
Yeah.
Prince outfit on him. And with Monster High, you're making these characters from scratch. It's like, okay, what's the deal? Ghosts? Okay, we need to make a weird ghost boy.
Yeah.
Produce the ghost boy. And Lord howdy, they produced the ghost boy.
They they sure did. Yeah. Yeah, it's because I was thinking of it and like yeah, it's just so much more compelling the characters they make here for the and I mean the Barbie movies you have sometimes Ken gets a bigger role and
Mm-hmm.
those are sort of the more compelling romances. But yeah, usually in the Barbie movies it's the big ships are Barbie and whoever the next female lead is. They're like the big ship of the movie. Whereas with these Monster High movies, I think they're doing a better job selling the romance within the movie itself.
Mm-hmm.
Now there are obviously a lot of ships as well, so
Indeed.
all over the place. But yeah,
I mean, when you've got a big ensemble cast like
yeah,
this and you introduce, the high school dynamics, you're gonna get ships of everything under the sun.
but yeah, no, I like having a good romance in these.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's surprisingly compelling when they're able to pull it off, and
Yeah.
especially with just like because Porter seems like a nice person and Spectra, and
Yeah.
they seem to work together well.
It starts as sort of not quite enemies to lovers, but like, they're button heads, they're disagreeing,
Yeah,
they're fighting, and they kind of like learn to see each other as equals, and it ends with, Porter singing their little duo song and that little spray paint of the two. It,
yeah,
it was just good. I liked it. It was well delivered. A simple meal well done.
yeah, yeah. Now we also have Kiyomi, who's doesn't have a huge role here, but does play a very important part in sort of the third act.
Hmm.
Um, she's an interesting character. I don't think we got enough of sort of. I don't understand which colors are supposed to be which emotions. I'm sure
Yeah,
someone has a guide somewhere, but it
yeah.
isn't.
Kiyomi is supposed to be, because one of the things that Monster High likes to do is try to incorporate, because it's about monsters.
Yeah,
Every country, every culture has monsters. They try to incorporate other cultures' ideas of monsters into the setting. And so Kiyomi is meant to be a Korean type of ghost that has no face. I don't know much about the actual like ghost type. I don't know much about Korean folklore. I wish I did. But the idea here is she's not supposed to have a face, and she's expresses her emotions with colors. Yeah, the colors thing does happen a bit, but she also definitely has a face,
yeah,
which did kind of annoy me when the whole deal is supposed to be she has no face.
yeah.
But
I guess they're doing because like that's the kind of thing that works. You can say that or write it down and it's like, oh, that's actually compelling, like someone who expresses emotions not through a face but through color. But then when you do the visuals it's just like disco slenderman. So I
oh
wonder if that
wow,
was the
I am now picturing Saturday Night Fever, but with Slender Man in the middle, and it's the best. Thank you for this gift that I will treasure. Oh, yeah. Nope, you nailed it.
yeah, especially if they're gonna make a doll of it. Like
Mhm.
just imagine that you're a child and you're sleeping in your room and you wake up in the middle of the night after a nightmare and there's just this faceless doll staring at you, blinking different colors.
Yeah.
Probably glow
And
in the
they,
dark too.
oh, she might have been. I
Maybe.
know they made a Kiyomi doll. I don't know if she glowed in the dark. But she did have like the way they do it is she's sort of blue and they have like white face and they the details of her face are drawn in white. Is what I meant to say. And so the doll has the same sort of like very basic face but drawn in white. Which is like, I guess you gotta do what you gotta do, but also it's like, I'm sure there's gotta be other kinds of ghosts. You went with the one that has no face? Like,
Yeah.
that's gonna, yeah. And then, yeah, she doesn't really get to do much. She is the ghost who is haunting Draculaura, and she doesn't really do much other than she has a superpower of opening windows into other worlds. She winds up being more of a plot convenience than a character.
Yeah. Yeah, because you could have. She has this previous relationship with Spectra, and sort of hints at like character development that happened prior to the movie and off screen.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, there is an interesting character somewhere in there. It's just
Mhm.
the movie doesn't have time for that. We're busy with Spectra and Porter, so she kind of gets.
Yeah. Unfortunate, but
Yeah, yeah. That is they could have done more with that character though to make her. But yeah, speaking of people who didn't get much time, I'm gonna say this wrong. Vandala doubloons.
Vandala Doubloon, yep, she's there.
Yep.
She's a ghost pirate? Question mark.
Is this like Cyrena where it's a ghost and a pirate had a child? Or is she
Monster the idea of pirate being its own type of monster is very entertaining to me.
So, in the beginning, when she's first appears, she mentions that she's doing a pirate class that
Indeed,
she's doing something with.
yeah,
So,
she's timing how long it takes for her ship to overtake another ship, and then having overtaken the other ship, stops the timer and then asks them to sign a form, like to officially note that they have been taken over for Ghost Pirate class, which is fantastic. I love the idea of that.
I want
And
that elective.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. I'd take that class in a heartbeat, or the lack of one. But like, it's yeah. When and that's sort of it. That's kind of the moment she gets, and then we move on from there. And she also kind of ends up being the plot convenience of, we have a ghost ship
Yeah.
that we can, and that's sort of, yeah, she's here because boat, question mark.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of wishing, and maybe there will be a future movie where that's the plot, though I somewhat doubt it. But like, why can't we do a high seas adventure with
That
her?
would be
Just do like
awesome.
Pirates of the Caribbean style.
Yeah,
I guess those are skeleton. Yeah, they're ghost pirates.
it's
Skeleton
fine.
pirates, same difference. Get
But yeah,
Barbosa
because
in there.
these, hell yeah, Davy
Davy
Jones,
Jones.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You mean
Um,
Davy Bones?
Is that who he is in Monster High?
I
Yeah.
I I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think we ever
There's
get to Davy Jones
We
okay.
proper.
had we had a name in the film. I
Oh,
think
we
it was
did.
Davy Bones. Yes.
Davy Bones. All right. Well,
My
there you
dad
go.
was pointing out how have they never used the pun Davy Jones's locker in one of these things? They're high
Oh,
school movies.
there. Yeah, that's that. You know what? That's the locker that has the tentacle that keeps coming out to grab that nerd.
That's Davy Jones's locker.
That's Davy
Like
Jones's locker.
you could even have them comment on that, like, "Whoa, did that tentacle just come out of that locker?" Oh yeah, that's
That's
Davy
Davy
Jones's
Jones's
locker.
locker. That'd be so good. Ugh. But yeah, like they sort of set up this like premise that she's a pirate, but she's also like incredibly seasick, and
And then
so
that
it's
goes
like,
nowhere.
yeah, it's so which I'm guessing is sort of, we got to focus on the main story and Spectra and
Yeah,
whatnot. So this character with kind of an interesting hook doesn't really. She's just there with her cuttlefish. Aye aye. Which that was fun. That was cute, but it didn't
yeah.
really like go anywhere.
I wonder if Mattel just sends them like, here are the dolls we're doing. Here's like 2 character traits. Make sure these 2 character traits end up in the movie.
Entirely probable, which is unfortunate. I know it was confirmed that like there is no conversation between the people who like write the diaries of the characters and the people making the movies, which is unfortunate and
Yeah.
frustrating for people who want consistent lore, which, you know.
And then there's the book series, which is just its own thing.
Yeah, I've heard things. I have a friend, we were recently discussing this, and she read a lot of the books, and apparently it is also its whole other thing.
It's like human school, and then the monsters are attending the human school.
Oh, okay.
I read the first few chapters, and then I got to a point where I was like, I can't do this anymore.
I'm done.
It's
I
too
know
much.
there was a crossover. The only one that I like tried to look down and like see if I couldn't find more information was the crossover between Ever After High and Monster High
Oh,
about the elusive Shadow High that was both home
isn't
to
that
the
a
fairy
new doll line?
Ever After High.
No, Shadow High.
Oh yeah,
I was just
well,
at the store.
Shadow High is the other half of Rainbow High, which is the
Yeah.
dolls that are about colors. I make a joke in the video about how I refuse to learn the lore of Rainbow High, and that is going to stay consistent because I do not want to know about Rainbow High.
Yeah.
But in like the lore of the book, Shadow High was where like the fairy tale characters and monsters went to school together. Which when you get to Ever After High, that won't make a lot of sense because the whole sort of thing with the fairy tale characters is they have to like sign the storybook of destiny, and I guess the monsters are also there? Question mark. So it's like, yeah, sure. All I know is that the evil queen calls Frankie an abomination, and Frankie gets really upset about this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways,
Speaking of
Haunted
evil
High.
queens,
Oh, yeah. Principal Revenant, aka the Red Lady. I just thought she was a fun villain.
Oh, she was. I liked her a lot. She had the great vibe of, you know, classic ghost archetype of haunting Victorian lady
Yeah.
with right down to the crazy cheekbones and mad eyes. Like it was great. And when she like did the full like red lady reveal and had that dope hood and whatnot, I was like,
Yeah.
stunning. I love it. I need $20 of this woman. Hell yeah. Um but
Maybe,
yeah.
maybe it's just because I was watching the Netflix Fall of the House of Usher recently, but I was like, ooh, Mask of Red Death?
Yeah.
Is that the haunting that got her in trouble? Who knows? We haven't had enough Poe in these.
We have not had enough Poe in these. That is
We
actually a
need a
little bit
good
surprising.
pit and a pendulum and some
Heck
telltale
yeah.
hearts. And
That'd be great. Love that.
have you seen Netflix's Fall of the House of Usher?
I took a day off of work, and a friend of mine and I, when it dropped on that Thursday, we watched all of it. We finished at 3 a.m. and we're just like, hell, we stood up
Yeah,
and clapped, and it was great. And then I rewatched it with my parents. And it's very good on a rewatch too, of noticing all the different things.
yeah. The
I
connections to the story, like each one is just so like the telltale heart being the like pacemaker.
Oh yeah.
So
And
so
Murders in the
perfect.
Rue Morgue is not like a horror story, it's a detective story.
Yeah,
And so when they were like Murders in the Rue Morgue, I'm like, "What?" Go on. Oh, I mean obviously Auguste Dupin opened his mouth and said, "My name is Auguste Dupin." And I went, oh, "There he is." Like it was just me, Leonardo DiCaprio, pointing the entire time. It was great. Yes, there should be much more Poe in Monster High, and I'm a little surprised that there isn't.
yeah. I
We've got
mean,
the Headless Horseman from, Sleepy Hollow. We gotta get some Poe in here.
yeah, and I think it's kind of like because my vision for what Monster High should be is the first few Barbie movies were fairy tale adaptations. I think Monster
Mm,
High should be monster and horror adaptations.
heck
But
yeah.
I mean, it's tougher to fit that into like kids media because
Yeah, you
how do
you
you do
kind of have to.
Dracula as a kids movie?
Exactly.
But yeah,
You do Hotel Transylvania. That's what you do.
Dude, in the third one, or maybe it's the second one, I don't know. I haven't seen all of them. They go on a cruise. they're on vacation at this hotel, and then they're like, "Hey, what if we went on vacation from our vacation?"
Sweet life on deck, baby. It's like, what? Okay. I know I've seen the first Hotel Transylvania, and I think I watched the second one, where like he has to do like grandfather stuff, and I was just like, all right, this is a thing that is happening.
John, do you know who directed those?
William Lau. Oh, Genndy Tartakovsky. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. The guy behind the animated Clone Wars, like the 2D animated Clone Wars and
Oh.
Samurai Jack.
Samurai Jack and
Heck
Dexter's
yeah.
Laboratory, some Powerpuff Girls,
Love that.
I
Primal.
I have it on very good authority. I have not rewatched these though. That if you watch the Hotel Transylvania movies with that in mind, like the animation and the movement of it actually
Oh, yeah.
really works well.
I've
The
seen
animation
behind the
and-
scenes where Genndy talks about the animation process and just like getting that good squash and stretch into 3D.
Yeah. I remember reading a thing about it where they described Hotel Transylvania as getting Ferrari to make you a clown car. And I was like, that's totally fair,
Yeah.
because the animation is stunning. It's really beautiful. It's just the story's kind of bad, and yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yes, Monster High. I constantly am like wanting Monster High to lean into the monster of it all, and I know I
Yeah.
won't, because it's for children, but it is like, come on, man. Draculaura should drink blood. That's kind of what vampires do.
You might enjoy Skull Shores in that case, because that is very much like a King Kong riff.
Ooh, okay.
Which I didn't realize until they're in the movie and they're like, "We are going to Skull Shores," and then they go, and I'm like, "Wait a second, Skull Shores, Skull Island, King Kong, what?"
What? Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. I do need to watch.
That's
I think I
the,
have it on DVD. I know I picked up a double feature at a thrift store the other day.
it has
But
the worst poster I have ever seen. Like the DVD cover is
that's saying something, because the
horrifyingly
Freaky
bad.
Fusion DVD cover sucks.
This is worse. It looks like a still from the movie, but like an ugly still from the movie, but it's not a still from the movie.
Awful.
Anyway, we're way off track here.
We're talking
What were we
about
talking about?
characters. We talked about the Red
The
Lady.
Red Lady. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we already kind of
Kind of a
discussed how
milk-free
the
blog.
ending
Sorry,
is.
what?
Oh, the ending with her is just very convenient.
Oh, yeah.
Her redemption arc. Just
But overall, as a character, she is very
yeah.
fun. When she moves forward and you see that giant ball
Yeah.
of chain behind her, it's just like, oh, hold on, you're crazy. Heck yeah. I'm always entertained by a classic Victorian ghost. I think they're very fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, I liked it. I thought she was fun. The hall monitors didn't make a lot of sense to me, but I suppose every villain needs its goons.
Yeah.
I don't know what
I
they
like
were
that they're
in for,
a
but
Dickens reference. Because
yeah, it was
I was
sort of
thinking
that,
of like,
but like it didn't. I don't know. It obviously
yeah.
it's the past, present, and future, and they kind of did that with like the jokes with future knows what you're going to do.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it fully delivered on that particular point.
Yeah.
But
that does make me curious to see what would Monster High's Christmas Carol look like.
oh, that'd be so cool.
But yeah, other characters there weren't really all that many
River
that stood out to
Styx
me. Oh, River! How
I
did I
like
forget
her. I think she's cute. I think she's fun. I think taking the Grim Reaper and making it Pinkie Pie is a great idea. And then she also doesn't get to do anything. Like she's got the confetti cannons. She's doing her spooky, like, you're not supposed to be here. And then it's like, again, a really interesting hook. Let's do something with it. Oh, we're not? Okay.
Also,
Whatever.
that name, perfect. I was like, who is this? And then she's like, I'm River Styx. And I was like,
I
perfect.
was hooting and hollering. I thought that's the best. Whenever people, like when I was talking about Freaky Fusion a lot to my family, they were like, these names are something. And I'm like, yeah, you want to know the daughter of the ferryman to death? Her name's River Styx. And they're like, God damn it, that's oh, that's a good one. I hate how and I'm like, yeah. Uh so yeah. She also has such a like interesting design where she's like sort of skeletal with the big scythe, and she's just so cute. And I love the idea of, you know, I love a cute psychopomp. I like the idea of, you know, the subversion of the spooky ominous thing. It's actually pretty fun.
Yeah.
But I just wish she got to do more.
Yeah. That is the big tragedy of all of these, is that there are so many interesting characters and then they just disappear into the background of crowd shots.
A shame.
Occasionally the foreground of crowd shots.
Yeah. Gigi Grant, lovely to see you. Sorry, you don't get to do anything though.
So yeah, overall I gave the characters a 4 out of 5. I like these characters.
I gave 3.5 because I like the characters. I feel like they don't get to do a lot with like Freaky Fusion. It would introduce you a lot of characters, but then like they got to do things. Like I liked the characters enough that I could kind of give it a pass for being so overwhelming. And with this, it was just kind of like, oh, okay, hello, goodbye. So yeah, I gave it a 3.5.
I gave it a 3.3.
So yeah, next up we have the visuals, and spectacular. I love Haunted High, everything Haunted High, the ghost ships, everything is just, it's ghosts.
It's ghosts. Part of the reason why I loved Spectra so much was she had the most interesting doll to me. Seeing her in like the toy aisle at Target or whatever, she was just so visually interesting because the doll, the way they do her is like her limbs are semi-transparent. And that was just really cool to see. And you know, she's got like the ball and chain earrings and whatnot, and like the light touches with the chains and whatnot. And so, you know, we get to Haunted High, and everyone becomes ghosts, and so everyone's sort of this semi-transparent. Like it was just really cool to see the chain, like, and as well as the different kinds of ghosts. All the different varieties there was really fun. That we did get to see a bedsheet ghost,
Yeah.
who I was like, is that just a guy pretending to be a ghost here? And then no, that's the teacher. And I'm like, oh, okay, all right, interesting. But yeah, as well as the designs were just really, really cool. I loved the ghost redesigns are the most sought, not the maybe not the most sought after dolls, but they are a very popular, like, if you have this, you can get good money for them kind of dolls. Um, it's just really cool. I really liked
Yeah.
the visuals on everything was really stunning. The only things that I kind of deducted points for was like we got it once in the sand sequence of when Rochelle gets sand put on her and she turns into goo. It's goo Rochelle. And I'm like, interesting. But then when the ghosts of past, present, and future do it, they just become other assets from.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, that's like, I get it, but also that's a little cheap, guys. Come on.
The Vampire Duck was new.
Vampire Duck was new. I did appreciate Vampire Duck. Vampire Duck.
With the hat.
With the hat. You put a little hat on any like little guy and I'm like, sold. You got me.
Yeah. And then the fangs are just like,
It's perfect. It's like the Starian puppet that's going around on TikTok right now.
Now, with Haunted High, one thing that occurred to me is that it's actually designed like the Panopticon, this famous prison design with the watchtower in the center and then everything on the outside. I don't know if that was what they were going for, but since this is like an old prison that somehow everyone forgot was the prison where the most notorious criminal in the history of ghosts was being kept, and built a school.
I mean, school, prison, what's the difference, man?
I mean, John, you may have more insight onto this. I kept hearing a rumor at our high school that it used to be an asylum.
I heard that rumor too. Yeah.
I have to assume it was a rumor and not
I
actually
mean,
real. But
it'd be something. I felt like I was in an asylum. I mean, our school's right next to the hospital, so like, hey.
and across from the radio station.
I mean, really, sure, yeah. Like the rooms in the school just looked more like cells.
They did it to me, but maybe that's just because I attended that school from kindergarten till graduation.
Maybe,
So
yeah.
maybe I was
No,
just in the asylum long enough that I forgot that I was in the asylum.
yeah. But and then when they repainted everything to look gray
Yes,
for some reason.
they have these like dark
How do we make this
hallways,
look
like
less like an
prison
asylum?
hallways.
I
And
know.
they,
Drab colors.
they had
It's
these
like,
like gates that they would close for security, like after students were out after school.
Oh,
But
sure.
you know, you stay after school and you're like walking past your hallway and you look down and it's like giant bars and then the gray lockers.
Wild.
yeah,
uh,
those weren't even our school colors, but everything turned
no,
gray.
I don't know why they did that or
That
who
is a really
approved
odd
it.
choice.
That was
I
Yikes.
great.
know. Yeah, well, speaking of color, I thought, the ghostly effects are cool, but they kind of muted all of the colors and
Mm.
made everyone kind of washed out in the environment because everything was ghostly, except when our main characters weren't, and their colors really popped. And it's like, oh, it really should be the other way around. Ghostlies are more colorful because they're translucent as well. But nah, it was just, oh, okay.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I was into the ghostly aesthetic enough that that didn't stand out to me. Oh, we should. I forgot to mention this earlier. This movie is weirdly unavailable to stream in the US.
Really?
Yes,
You can
it's.
get it
I
on
have
YouTube Premium, and that's it.
no, not YouTube Premium. YouTube Premium with the Paramount Plus add-on, and I'm not sure about that because it told me it was on DirecTV available for purchase, and then I went to the link and it was not showing up. So I don't know
Weird.
what is up with it because it must be a rights thing or something with like,
Yeah, I
but
guess.
they use their own music. I don't know what's up with it. It's just like this one, starting with this one, and then a couple of the later ones as well are unavailable to stream in the US.
Super weird.
Up into the live action remakes.
No,
Uh,
it's is it? Maybe it is. I thought Welcome to Monster High was, but yeah, we'll figure that out later.
mm,
But yeah, so yeah, the copy I was watching was potentially not the highest quality,
oh, yeah.
but the visuals still stood out as a very strong point of this.
So
So yeah,
what did you give it?
I gave it a 4 out of 5. I love the ghost stuff.
And I gave it a 3.75. I liked almost all of it, just a couple of moments where it seemed like the animators were taking some shortcuts.
I gave it a 3.3.
So yeah, next up we have the performances. A lot of returning people here. We've talked about them before, for the most part.
Yeah.
I did want to talk about Erin Fitzgerald as Spectra sort of takes a very central role here, and I think her voice bothered me at first.
Mm.
Because before she's shown up as like a side character, so the fact she's doing like the spooky, like a
Yeah.
little bit of a spooky thing to her voice is like, oh, as a side character, that's fine. When she's the main character, it's maybe a bit much. But as it went on, I sort of got used to the voice, and then was like, okay, yeah, now I can appreciate it a bit better.
And then Rochelle Goyle was the closest thing we had to Abby in this film.
Yep.
Yeah, Yeah, I guess we did talk. She has like sort of a mini arc of wanting to swim but can't because she's made of stone. But when she's a ghost, she gets to swim, and it's pretty cute.
Yeah, yeah. No, really doesn't go anywhere, but
No, not
yeah,
really.
yeah.
It's
that,
more
that
she
was
wants something, and then she gets to do it, and it's like, aw, yay.
yeah. Now, Karen Strassman plays Principal Revenant, and I thought her voice work was just phenomenal. She gets to play the villain. Villain roles are always great for performances. So,
Delicious.
yeah.
And Todd Habercorn opens his mouth, and I spot him immediately. But he always does a really good job. Like, it's one of those
Yeah,
voices
yeah.
that's like, you can recognize it when you hear it, because like, oh, there he is. But did a great job as Porter. It was very fun.
Yeah. All of the people here are doing good work. Yeah, we don't always talk about the voice actors as much as we used to, but that's because they're using the same cast, which is they didn't do that as much with the Barbie
Mhm.
movies. Um, but yeah, just a lot of great people who get to do good work here.
Yeah. Everyone tuned in, showed up, put in a good performance, and yeah.
Yeah.
I got paid.
Not much to say. Yeah, get paid. Get out of there.
So yeah, I gave the performances a 4 out of 5.
I also gave the performances a 4.
And I'll give it a 3.5 as usual.
So yeah, last up we have sound. The soundtrack here, we're finally getting more new tracks. Like we still had a lot of the generic Monster High music, but now we add some tracks with like a more spooky, ghosty.
Oh yeah, that theremin was working
Yes.
overtime. Oh man, the like kind of sounds like everywhere, every track, and I loved it actually.
Yeah.
I was like, hell yeah! What says ghosts? Theremins, and it delivers. It's the same thing of like Spectra with her sort of wispy voice. It's just like, yeah, you want to convey spooky, haunting spectral activity? You get a theremin and you put it on your tracks, and it
Yeah.
rocked.
Yeah, that might honestly be part of what just sold me on the sort of tone and style of this was the music.
Mm-hmm.
And especially watching these movies all in a row, you get kind of used to the generic music that they play. So it's nice to get new tracks in there and have a little bit more. Especially like we were spoiled with the Barbie movies. We didn't realize we had it good with unique soundtracks for each movie. So anytime we get new songs, it's a little bit exciting.
Also, just so much Tarkovsky in the soundtrack, so
Tchaikovsky.
him
Oh,
too. Yeah.
yes. Gesundheit.
All of those like Eastern European and Russian names are the same. That's the problem with War and Peace. If you've ever tried to read War and Peace,
I have never tried to read War and Peace, but I have listened to the opening number of Natasha Pierre and the Great Comet of 1875, which is like the bit where I don't know if you know anything. That is a section of War and Peace that got turned. Yeah. And so the whole opening number is here's one sentence to describe every character, and I'm like, all right, here. And they even say like in the song like this is all in your program, so you better study up, and like it becomes like a egg in the nest, and the nest on the limb, and the limb on the tree, and the tree in the hole, like where they're like where they just it's like I can't remember the lyrics, but it's like Natasha's a slut, something's a thing, like Pierre's this guy, and Andre isn't here, and like every bit they add a new guy, and the chorus just gets longer and longer.
Yeah, I listened to there's like a BBC adaptation. It's an abridged version that is like a radio drama, and it's abridged, but it's like 24 hours long or something. But the first time I listened to it, I was like, the first half I'm like, what's going on? Who's who? Which Andre is this? Because there's like 3 different characters named Andre.
Yeah.
And then finally, second half, okay, now I'm starting to figure out who everyone is. So then I went back and re-listened to the first half so I could figure out where everyone started.
Incredible.
But yeah, Russian names. That doesn't have much to do with Monster High. They should do a Barbie War and Peace.
Yes. Immediately sold. I would love it.
What? I guess that
Just-
would be
just
Barbie
one
in War and Peace, or
Barbie in War and
Barbie
Peace.
of War and
Barbie of
Peace.
War. Barbie of War. End of sentence. Hold on.
The only
I-
War and Peace that I know is that kid from Sky High.
Ah, good old War and Peace.
Okay, Barbie of War. It's God of War, but with a Barbie mod. So you're playing as Barbie.
Barbie is going through the pantheons and just killing. Incredible. I love that.
Anyway, I gave the sound a 4 out of 5.
I believe I also gave The Sound a 4 out of 5.
And I gave it a 3.1.
So yeah, that leaves my final score at a 19.5 out of 25, which is a 78% or a 3.9 on our 5-star scale. So this is, I think, the second highest I've rated any of these. I liked it.
Yeah, my overall score here was a 19, which is a 76% or a 3.8 star rating, which is pretty good.
And
I
I
like
have a
this movie.
16.5, which is a 66% or a 3.35 star rating.
Heck yeah.
Yeah,
It was a fun one.
yeah, I enjoyed it. I know, John, you didn't enjoy it nearly as much.
It was fine. It was there. I watched it. It's been a month, so
Rough.
Yep. Yeah, we
coming back with like characters that I'm not as familiar with is not the easiest thing. It's like,
Yeah,
oh,
it was an
where's
interesting.
Abby?
Yeah,
Where's
it was interesting that they
Frankie?
pulled some more, side characters to not really get center stage, but having any amount of stage.
yeah. And yeah, I appreciate seeing side characters. I do hope we get. I mean, Abby, I kind of assume since she's been missing from a lot of the more recent stuff, I'm worried she's been cast aside. But at least give us some Cleo.
Getting phased out, you know.
Yeah,
We got a little bit of Cleo.
yeah.
It's like, what? Werewolf fleas?
Cleo is because she's an interesting character, but the problem is you need to get to the point of complexity where she is revealing her inner heart of gold.
Mm-hmm.
But it takes a while to get there. She's like the Candace or Doofenshmirtz of Monster High, where it's like it starts out as the villain, but then the longer it goes on, you're like, oh, actually, this is the most compelling character in the show. But we haven't quite gotten to the point where there were a couple of good Cleo movies, but now we're back to standard. So
Back
yeah,
to formula.
yeah.
Well, I mean, how many movies away is Boo York, Boo York? Because that is all Cleo all the time,
Oh.
just about.
Oh, I believe that is.
Well, we'll find out
Yeah.
very soon.
Oh, it's next episode.
All right. You asked for Cleo, baby, you're gonna get some.
Well, in that case, thank you everyone for listening, and make sure to follow us on social media. We're Binging Barbie Podcast on Instagram and Tumblr, Binging Barbie on Twitter and Serialized, and Binging Barbie, a Barbie movie podcast on Letterboxd. And if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to leave a 5-star review. And we will be back next week to talk about Monster High, Boo York, Boo York. And until then, be careful who you haunt. Ooh.
Ooh. Bye, Barbie. Bye, Barbie.
Bye, bye, Barbie. Incredible.